I think the thing that's really interesting there to me and it's a question that comes up all the time, is when people are kind of thinking about a bit of a career transition or
Mm,
kind of going in a different direction. I think sometimes the mistake that can be made is that they try and change everything at once, and that can
agreed.
make the next step very
Yep.
difficult because at that
Mm,
point you perhaps don't have a level of experience and you're up against people who do, it's
mm,
hard. Whereas your pathway there was clever because you could rely on the account management, account director, business development type of experience that you
mm.
had and you had in spades, but going in a slightly different direction, so you've
Yeah.
essentially only changed one thing as opposed to kind of changing everything.
Correct. And I think you also need to be a bit more, what's the right word I'm looking for? A bit more open to the type of organizations that you work for. So, for example, the company I moved to was essentially a tech consultancy which had a human centered design team. Um, as opposed to going to work from the number one UX design consultancy in Australia or a startup. I very much was mindful that might be better to be in an organization which you can help one little part of it rather than just go and be responsible for the whole thing. So yes, again, it was a little bit of manufacturing my own moves. So I think the position I got, it was someone I'd met probably from the meetups. In fact, I think it was from the meetup. So I'd met from around the traps another Pom, and he was heading up a studio with this tech consultancy, and it was a decent sized team. It was sort of, I think, about 15, 20 people at the time. But what they wanted was someone who was essentially doing my role, as in that account manager, that account
Mm.
director, that business development guy, but within that much bigger ecosystem of an IT consultancy. So, but it was a case of, again, sort of highlighting 3 or 4 or maybe 10 organizations. Oh, okay, I think I can do something there. And then reaching out. And obviously, timing was very lucky. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of no's. I'm making it sound like every person I reached out to, they said, yeah, great, come and join us. It wasn't that at all. There's a lot of rejection or come back later or you haven't got enough experience for us at this point in time. So, yeah. So, going back to that kind of manufacturing your own opportunities is super important, I think.